We're back with Kaiserpunk, episode number 10. And of course, we're going to continue on with 1, trying to balance the economy out, 2, trying to grow as rapidly as we can militarily, and 3, try to grow our territory militarily. And speaking of, we do have our unit here. Still waiting on deployment. Okay. That leaves them a little bit short-handed, so no, they will not attack just yet. We do have a navy that's supposed to be moving south, so let's worry about that. And then, of course, we have our unit here. And do we have our Air Force yet? Can't figure out how to deploy them at the moment. So I guess for now, they're going to stay put. Don't we have a 3rd battalion deploying? Okay, they're deploying. They'll be deployed in just over 1 day. And that leaves us with these guys that we are worried about. Have we come under attack? They have some damage, don't they? They have very much come under some damage, so we haven't heard about it, but we have been attacked. Lacking the 20 pounders, we're going to have to get those made. So it does look like we have come under attack. That's going to be important to keep an eye on. All right, I think one of the best ways for us to try to go forward in our military level is going to be, adding in things like vehicle factories. A shipyard's worth 5, aircraft factory is worth 5, a military base, naval base, air base are all worth 5 points. So another military base is worth 5 development points itself, and then has no outstanding costs that come just from having it. So let's go ahead and add in our 4th army base, and eventually another battalion would be placed there, but that instantly gives us 5 points. Another factory should be helpful for us as well. And as we're down on food rations, that'll help take care of that. Likewise, if we're hurting in other departments, we might as well continue on with, like, say, another vehicle factory to make the pounders. More vegetable farms going in. Dealt with a few other industries as well. New depot in the area should help also up as we're trying to keep up with production levels here. But I've added in more flour mills or paper mills, and kind of going 2 for 1 with these guys, as we're up over $1 million in cash for the first time, and we do have room for more citizens to get called in. So let's deal with that. Add a couple labor high rises. Okay, army successfully deployed. Let's go ahead and get out here and get these guys on the move once again. And I'm guessing that's this one deployed. Yes, it is. It's going to be 5 days till we get the other unit, but I think we are in good enough condition to begin working on Brooks here, Northern Alaska. Looks like we took out their infantry units, but there is garrisons here, and all 3 remain. This 3rd battalion is deployed. I'm wondering if I can change names on these. It would be nice if I can go in and do that. That Navy has moved away since we've come into the area. Once our Navy gets down here, we'll use them to get the Caribbean and then jump across into South America, so that they can at least, finish off the Atlantic side. And keeping an eye on these guys, because they did take some losses. And I did notice that there is a... No. There is a Navy here that does have a little bit of damage to it and is moving. So I'm wondering if it's that Navy as the other Navy also. They're actually both surrounding us at the moment. Could be a problem. And we've got this air base still in construction. Okay, that's why we couldn't deploy there yet. That makes a lot of sense. But we are getting our garrison built up pretty well. That's helping us out. Be nice if you could queue up multiple move orders so that it will carry them out, even if it's a short queue, right? If you can queue up, like, say, 3 move orders, you know, before you know it, they're down here instead of 1 move at a time, and constantly having to keep an eye on that. Starting production for another munitions factory making artillery shells, where we have supposedly a major negative balance either way. It's still something that's going to help us, even if we don't really need it desperately. It's going to help us get those development points that we need to get into that next tier. Speaking of, well, how the heck is that next tier looking right now? It is into tier 9 now, and tier 9 unlocked the submachine guns, which we were already doing, and army rations. So we need to start making up some army rations. That's another thing to just keep things pushing along. Army rations are made from here, bread and canned meat. Let's do 2 factories for it and get them both maximized for efficiency. Alright, continuing that invasion here to the north. The 3 garrison shouldn't take too long to break down. Okay, this naval group has moved south. They are out of the area. We're still at full strength. Doing okay there. But as for, yeah, they've got a massive garrison and a full unit that's looking a little bit weaker. I do feel like they are the ones who attacked us, but we're going to need that naval support or that air support before we can do anything useful, and it's going to be a little while. It's going to be a little while before we get the airfields constructed, or air bases constructed, whatever the case may be. Balances kind of look the same as ever. A lot of negatives here, but we need more canned meat now that we're making the army rations. And continuing on with our quest to take northern Alaska here down to the 2 garrisons. There's a small chance that we could end this one right here and now. Looks like we might have succeeded in doing so. Yes, we have. There you go. So the battalion is going to claim another territory. We'll get them moved back down into here. We're also going to have to get them reinforced this time around, as they have taken a bit of a beating. We're still deploying that last unit in the meantime. We've got just shy of 4 days until the air bases are going to be ready. Meanwhile, these guys are fully restored. So the Yugoslav kingdom has been very active here recently and are growing pretty rapidly in terms of conquering their neighbors. So we're going to very much have to keep an eye out for them when we head over into Europe, and there is that perfect sign of just what I'm talking about. They have a lot of Europe, so we're going to have our hands full, you know, moving on in this direction, maybe through the British Isles. All right, we have done it. We have unlocked the assault infantry. This is very good news. Do I go into the new battalion with the assault infantry? I think we do. I think that's where you start. So we'll get 4 units on the go. And prepare the new battalion. And then we've got to stay active out here on the world map. And actually, these guys need to be moving first. Alright, we have less opposition this time, it looks like. Mackenzie. How deep is this garrison? 3 down to 1. Nice. Okay. We'll have Mackenzie here fairly soon. Alright, well, with this 3rd battalion, upgrading them seems a smart choice, especially when they don't have experience yet anyway. So we'll get a couple of those units swapped out. World map upgrades built. That's 2 of them. That means we should be able to deploy our Air Force finally, and yes, we can. And we can deploy them right into the... It's only going to take just over a day to get them there as well. Deploy them right into the... He's just now ready to move once again. We're going to get these guys over into the Caribbean. Probably continue straight on down here and move them straight on down and then leave them behind. Alright, that is another territory taken. But a lot of neutral territories are going down pretty quickly these days. We're not going to move back over. I think we're just going to head straight into enemy territory, where it looks like it's just garrisons. How many garrisons is it that's holding us up? Just 3, down to 1. So we'll move into the Northwest Territories here quite quickly. And that'll shorten up our supply distance. But our air unit is deployable. They are ready. So what do we have now? Normal supply state. Damage versus naval is 8. Damage versus aerial is 32. And they have 60 health. Damage versus land is 12. But what kind of damage can we expect others to do? Damage versus aerial would be 8 for what we have with the artillery. But what about them? What do they have? No. Let's see, what would it be like? We would do 16, they would only do 7. So, yeah, let's engage. Yeah, the garrisons are ineffective against us, so we can start using our air superiority to make things difficult on them. Now we're gonna have to make sure we have some planes in reserve look, barely a scratch. Barely a scratch, and we put a good little hurting into them, so yes, we can start wearing them down. Okay, checking back in on research. We're at level 15 on living. Agriculture is almost maxed out. Manufacturing is also quite close. Civics has ways to go, so I should invest a little bit there. And morale, same sort of thing, but they're both level 11. And then of course it's the military one. What do we get at level 10, by the way? The field howitzers, the medium tanks, and the cruisers. So next tier. That's very, very, very important. So continually building up supply, and probably the 4th military battalion. How are they looking, by the way? Still working on the 1st. Just finished the 1st. 81% until their 1st unit is upgraded. We won't go all the way on the 4 of those just yet, because I do know that we are facing the challenge of the Navy is in the region. So getting them into the Caribbean and taking that over, we'll need to have those units available for that. So we're going to get 1 unit upgraded on the 2nd battalion, the one in the fighting zone, the 1 unit that doesn't have that star of experience. So get them replaced and upgraded and give us a little more firepower. And meanwhile, 1st battalion. Right. I think we should replace one of these guys soon, the lesser experienced ones. But they're about to take the Northwest Territories, shortening the supply route and the turn. Okay, production queue is empty. Oh, right. We need reinforcements. So we need reinforcements here. Production queue. Okay, we have 17 planes. No airships. Why did I not have airships? I think it was something to do with... That doesn't show me what production costs would be. But if we are getting these guys into an active fight, we need to get them reinforced. From here we can tell what it is. Bombs. I'm not making bombs yet. Let's get bombs made. That'll help our score anyway, right? So what do we need for making bombs? Are they unlocked? Well, it's chemicals and steel. We certainly have the means. I think those bombs are going to do a lot more damage than the fighters will. Fighters are more for air support. And we can start getting those bombers added in, and they'll do a lot more damage. Okay, it's time to get things moving again here. I'm spending a lot more time on this map. A lot more time. Let's go finish these guys off. Alright, that's garrison ended. And now it's just none of it standing in our way. But what about northern territories and Greenland? I don't know. We didn't get that far with our navy to find out what, if anything, is up there. Okay, how are you guys looking now? Let's reinforce. Reinforce that one as well. They're going to have a delay anyway before they can do anything else. Okay, we'll board the naval ship when we get down to about here. Air Force. Let's go. Wear them down. Oh, hello. They have upgraded. They now have 3 units here, but it's only the 1 artillery, the 1 tank, and we are definitely doing more damage to them than we are taking. So we are wearing them down. Meanwhile, these guys are full strength other than the unit that is currently upgrading. More newspapers, more artillery shells, more basic things going into production once again, and then back onto the map. Gotta keep moving. Gotta just keep moving along. Alright, Northwest Territories ready to move into Nunavut, which we softened up a lot. We really softened up Nunavut with that navy. The only downside was the navy spending so much time over here that it's taken them a very long time to get down this Atlantic coast, but Nunavut, we walked right into it. Right in. And that completes North America, or at least North America as far as we know it. Is this just uninhabited land? Probably. Possibly. We don't know for sure. Greenland probably has at least 1 province, you would think, but we won't know without an additional navy to move these guys along. So do I turn them into my West Coast protection against a Pacific invasion? Possibly. Possibly. Air Force still looking good. Let's go ahead and continue to inflict damage and soften up the enemy. Of course it's defeat, right? No surprises at all. We shall reinforce relatively soon, but we continue to inflict damage. Downside right now, though, is they seem to be reinforcing their harder, tougher infantry and at the same time are upgrading them. I mean, they've already now got 4 units, and those 2 softer units, not looking great, but you take out the artillery and the tanks and, you know, we're dealing with another matter, right? And we're still waiting on that navy. Anyway, our new unit still not deployable. Meanwhile, this one is. Looks like they are both ready to deploy, so we'll get those guys deployed. They'll be here in 5 days. And they can board the Navy ship already. But we'll wait for that deployment and continue to move them down into position. The Navy can soften up the defense too. We're going to send the original 1st Battalion back to defend the homeland, especially with where they are. I'm not going to defend the Pacific, we'll defend the homeland. We're reaching a point where the finances, the plywood, grow rapidly enough. We have kind of a stockpile of resources where I'm no longer working in 1s, I'm working in 2s and 3s. If I need to add clothes, I'm adding 2 clothiers. If I need newspapers, I'm adding 2 newspapers. And I'm often upgrading things, not always, but I'm often upgrading things to higher levels to produce more. Like this printing press, I really should do it here as well. So we're getting a bigger, better benefit out of their presence and more impactful on the balances short term. But back out on the world map, work to do. Hold on, let's not start there. Let's start here. Ooh, we could make a jump. You guys, the deployment's coming later, but move on board. There we go. There we go. Okay. They are attached. And our Navy has moved into the Caribbean, and it looks like it could kind of cut through. Oh, there's no defenses there? Okay, well, that's going to make that easy. So back to our Air Force. And softening these guys up. Which they most definitely are. I think we'll want to reinforce after this one. I certainly do have the air reserves. We also are making those bombs now, so I think we should be able to grow this air squadron. Yeah, more damage. More damage is good. Okay, reinforce. 16 planes to reinforce. And 80 recruits. What can we do with them? Shows the order of enemy attacks by range while preparing for battle. All damage of this army towards region upgrades and garrisons is doubled. Okay, double damage. We don't have the bombs. We don't have 150, we have 79 bombs currently. Okay. Alright, we're going to start making airships. 25 of those made. We're already down to 10 planes, so get some reserves again. Alright, lots happening in the world. A lot is happening. It's not just us. Others are doing a lot here. Mali has expanded a lot. Okay, there's the new rankings. Just had to click off. Yugoslav has expanded as well, and the Siberians. Our three enemies, though, are the three smallest nations in terms of faction strength, at least through domination. And I have no idea what the marker is. It's definitely not 25,000. I don't know if it's total domination. I doubt that, because you're not going to get total domination for a diplomatic victory. And while we're still ahead, coming up on 500k, the gap is shrinking. That Empire of Spice is over 300k now. Magellan's is close at 300k. In fact, most of them, everybody's over 200. Yugoslav is the lowest, so getting into Europe might not be that hard. More vehicle factories. They're expensive on upkeep, but you know what we have? Here's the thing. There's upkeep, right? And then there's development points. There's upkeep and then there's development points. Oh, our balance isn't that good, but we could fix that. We could fix that pretty quick. Let's take some upkeep. You got 5 military base, no upkeep. Military base, no upkeep. We are going to throw in some artificial military bases that just take up space. $15 points. Speaking of points, well, let's get down here. I have 12 breakthroughs. Let's use them. Level 10. Alright, so we just pushed into level 10, unlocking field howitzers, medium tanks, and cruisers. Field howitzers, medium tanks, and cruisers. Well, let's get all of the above going. Field tanks, and cruisers. This is my not vehicle factory. That's just a regular factory. There's my vehicle factory. No, those are also regular. Wow, that's a lot of factories. Here's my vehicle factories. We got 80 pounder guns. We got 147 tanks. We got 3 more getting made. And there is the field howitzer and the medium tank available to us. So So we'll get up 95 made at that vehicle factory. Let's go find our other vehicle factory. We're going to, we're like into early World War II era vehicles and tanks now, and we need, all right, so 1st Battalion. Well, let's replace these 2 units, and we can start making that 3rd. We need to deploy that last unit. 17 days, holy cow. That's because they're, see, no, that's the one. Okay, that's our unit to the far south, right? Okay, these guys are almost done deploying. 11 hours, and they're going to be ready to walk into the Caribbean as well. And these guys are actually ready to deploy. Here we will queue up the field howitzers and medium tanks, 2 of each made for the 4th Battalion to be at that extreme. Once those are fully deployed, then we can start reinforcing the others. Back out on the world map, like, they have nothing to lose. They're just gonna claim it. There you go. They have made it back home. They have made it to the Caribbean. Their unit deploying, but it's gonna take a while. And they are fully reinforced, back to full strength. All right, for the Great Softening, it looks like they have reinforced their tanks. They have lost a unit. There were 4, now there's 3. Did they disband them to reinforce the others? These 2 are very soft now, though. Either way, we are inflicting damage on them, right? We're hurting them, and they're just a little 1 province minor, so it's not like they can do too much here. That Navy's on the way. Looking at stock and trying to take that for a change instead of balance. Sometimes the balance is deceiving. Like diesel, we're not using anywhere near as much diesel as it claims we're using. We could potentially use that much, but we don't use it constantly. We are definitely using, and we're going to need to produce more though. But artillery shells, low in stock. Galena ore, the raw ore, I just added to that. We're going to go ahead and take care of the artillery shells. The newspaper is always shorthanded, but submachine guns is another one. All right, so now that we've got the Caribbean, we're going to get our unit back on board, and which is the quickest way down. Well, I know where we need to get to next, so we'll go ahead and go around this way. It looks like we can cut through probably right there, and then just get into South America just like that. And meanwhile, Air Force doing its job, softening these guys up. Could it be that they're about to destroy 2 units? Problem with destroying those 2 units is we're going to likely find ourselves with an enemy who is going to quickly replace those with stronger units. Having kind of the opposite effect. We could be doing them a favor. Right now there's too many garrisons to go after them with our standing army, with the battalion here, as much as we need to. There's a 2nd tank unit. There's a 2nd tank unit. They are adjusting. They are getting stronger, and those guys still didn't get destroyed, but they're about to be. The Navy's going to be the big key. All right, now we're starting to get some supply, and artillery shells is up. Galena ore is up. Newspapers just hanging in there. Some machine guns will be up soon. Steel, it's supposed to be plus 20, but it doesn't seem to be going that direction. So let's try to get some more steel made. All right, the cruiser is now available to us. I'm gonna start getting some of those made up. Very expensive they are, and electricity is definitely not out but low. So let's address that. And back here on the world map where we haven't even finished the cycle, and yes, there, cut on through. All right, well, we did take out their 2 militia units, wiping them out once and for all, and it looks like it's time to reinforce these guys once again. I'm not sure we have enough to fully reinforce. Yes, we do. Okay, but we're gonna have to go get some more made. We've only made one airship so far. Dang, I need another aircraft factory. Okay. We did get our reinforcements already in for our aircraft, so as we continue on here, without any bombs yet, I think those bombs are going to start making a pretty significant difference on what it is we're trying to do here. So it looks like there's been no reinforcements as of yet. They have not replaced those 2 units that we destroyed. But we are definitely getting them softer. That's going to be a little bit of a project here. You almost want to just let them land ashore and then do what they're going to do. Here is McRae's Navy, by the way. And we are not at war. It's Mali, I think it was. We're going to need to deploy a second Navy. These guys only have room for 1 more unit. And we don't have enough destroyers. I'm wondering how long that's been a problem. Let's get 4 new ones made up. We will use the new cruisers for that one, and then probably add in a couple destroyers. Which means we definitely need to queue up more destroyers. Which means I definitely need to address the diesel situation. A couple more diesel factories. Bricks have become a problem, though. We were not producing enough for our demands, and it snuck up on me, and we kind of ran out. So I have 2 new brick factories. It's going to take a while, though, before they can really put up some reserves for us, though. So in the short term, we're having some shortages in that department. But back out on the map, we are in position to be able to start the process. They've got 2 units and a garrison of some kind here. 7. Ooh, that's going to take some softening up. We're going to need the Navy to do so. But these guys can at least start softening them up themselves. Might as well. Do we suffer major penalties for being naval invasion? I guess we'll find out right now. It's not going to be an easy attack for them. I mean, it's 2 units and 7 garrisons, but they wiped out the 2 units. They did take more damage than what we normally do. So we have 2 second-tier tanks, 2 first-tier tanks, 1 second-tier tank, and 1 first-tier howitzers, and then the 3 units. 1 of them beat up pretty badly. It looks like 1 of them got reinforced. Meanwhile, the 4th Battalion is done for the 4 advanced infantry units. So we do have that task complete. So looking in on the others, like 1st Battalion. No, hold on. Here's 1st Battalion. Okay. So 1st Battalion has the 1st unit ready. Deploying them is going to be quick and easy because they're literally at the home. The 2nd one is getting close to having enough submachine guns. It looks like production of submachine guns could be ramped up, right? We could get through it a bit more quickly. Okay, the light tanks. That's the 2nd tier. And 1 of those, was it? So producing more submachine guns will speed things up. Alright, I've definitely been spending less time here, but our in-stock definitely gotten better. Steel. Now I'm on a minus 28. I see why. I see why. The bombers, the tanks, the ships, we need more steel. Meanwhile, back on this world map, get these guys upgraded, and then here The Navy is going to take a turn to help soften these guys up. They might not stick around the whole time, but, well, kind of have to with the unit on board, right? Cut them down to 5. Between the pair of them, they'll get through them quickly enough. Okay, we are a little soft. That's okay. We'll have to reinforce. All right, we've definitely got a smaller battalion than what we used to, and it's definitely getting softened up. Even these third-tier guys are starting to take a bit of a punishment, but so is my Air Force unit, so time to reinforce. And I'm not sure just how well we're doing. Nope, we are out of fighter planes, so we're going to have to reinforce the other way, which is reduction dealt with. Airships, I think we've made it to about 2 now. Did I not just put in a second airfield? Maybe I didn't have the bricks for it. But we've definitely addressed some of those biggest needs here. This list is long though, and diesel is running short. So we're gonna have to get back over to diesel and vegetables. I think we're very much into that phase of the game where time is money. Like, this world map is the key, but we're down to a single garrison, and these guys should be able to get it right here, right now. I should be able to walk into Lanos. There we go. Victorious. And in they march. There you go. So they are dropped off. They will finish sweeping through and taking South America. And then the Navy will be pushing on towards the war to the south. At least one more for now. We'll need to get the other 2 reinforced. Planes on the way. Not enough at the moment, though. Very much softening them up. I'm happy. I'm happy the direction we're going. And that's just with the Air Force. That Navy's a lot stronger. I think they're going to inflict a lot more damage, including to the garrisons. So it looks like Mali has softened up Orinoco for us. Their Navy is there. Looks like we also do have a way to bypass them without engaging them, but their Navy has softened up the defenses enough where we just marched right in. Hold that thought. Still can't reinforce the fact it's worse than it was. We need 8 each. We're going to hold up until we have some once again. We have 5 in supply right now is all. We do have bricks. Let's go ahead and get another. Ooh, hello. Light fighters are available, but we still need to get these guys constructed. Checking in on the 4. We already have 2 guys upgraded. They are 2 to 7 damage against land versus a 2 to 5. 1 to 1 versus naval and aerial, where it's a 1 to 2 versus naval and aerial. Army rations. Okay, we're getting into army rations instead of food rations, which is probably a good thing. A little more ammunition, though. Let's get these guys replaced. Even though they do have some experience, we are going to get them replaced. Meanwhile, yes, we still don't even have the first field howitzers. 16 takes 85 for 1 unit. Oh, holy cow, that's probably why we don't have any yet. I might have only gone as far as making 16. Oh, we are trying to get 71 made up, so it's not the problem. It's the production. So we need to ramp up production significantly. All right, looks like these guys are softened up a little bit already. Just 2 garrison units and softened up, so this might be a win, and it is. So we'll march right into Katingas. We'll have these 2 left on the west coast. I think I'll get these 2, then backtrack. No, you know what? I think from here we probably pull back, get them, then we can move into Mato Grosso and then move down and to be able to support the war. have 2 battalions down there. These guys can't do anything until we reinforce, and there is 1 reinforcing. But we definitely helped pull things along. Living in agriculture, both at 15 now, manufacturing very close. The civics, the morale are solidly in 12. I haven't done too much in those departments, but they've made a little progress. But military is up to 11, so really, really gaining quickly. And we're going to have a very, very strong military, difficult to break down in the near future. Really, already difficult, but we're having difficulties breaking down others. We're definitely not as strong as we could be. Scientific supremacy, definitely ahead, but it's hard to make significant gains right now as we're almost maxed out in so many different areas. But 250 is now the minimum, but we're still more than double that. But it is Magellan's faithful who are the closest. They seem to have a pretty decent military on their hands. But at 30k, our victory progress is looking pretty good on the faction conquest area. And we've got Magellan backed in. Everybody else is growing and expanding though, and going to offer us a bit of a challenge. Mali, who we see their navy, is at 11k. Siberia is at 9k. Empire of Spice is almost 7. Yugoslav is almost 7, and we've seen what they look like. That's quite a few provinces. And Australia at 6k, but Magellan's just the 1. So these guys are all like 3 or 4, 3, 4, 5, a little bit larger. Of course, we have all of North America now, and a growing presence across South America, and not quite ready to go again. So they'll have to wait a little bit longer. Air Force almost there on the reinforcements. I think we can do 1 more without, especially with 3 stronger units, and especially with the softening of our enemy. But their surface to air defense is only a 7, but our ground is only a 16. Almost getting close. Is that a new unit? New artillery unit? I think it is. In fact, it is. They have 1 less infantry unit, and they've replaced it there. Making progress, but not able to take. Not able to take just yet. And our navy will be able to move a little bit further here. So they can't. They've been blocked off. There is no larger sea node at the moment. I don't want to take them out. I'm not looking for a war. We're neutral. Good enough going on already in that department, right? Well, that made things a little trickier. We've got a 4th battalion coming together, but getting them much more is a challenge right now. We're going to get a 2nd navy. How are we doing on that? No cruisers yet. I think that's because we only have 1 ship, and we're working on the destroyers at the moment. Cruisers will come later, but speaking of, finally we're going to finish the final destroyer unit to complete our 1st navy. 6 hours until that unit finally arrives. It does feel like... Oh, they moved. There you go. Alright, we have bypassed them. We'll be able to get around. They have another navy over here, though. We're still stronger than that one, too, but we don't want to fight them. They're going to be in our way. Alright, well, progress made. Caribbean taken. Navy into South America. Approaching the battlefield. The proper battlefield. 1 obstacle navigated around, but we've got another obstacle still ahead of us. A navy we don't want to fight head to head. And then Air Force has very much softened them up a bit, but we are worried about the reinforcement of said Air Force at the moment. But we have made so much progress in a lot of areas, but we are taking a lot of steel, a lot of diesel now, and so we've got shortages in new areas that we didn't have before. But most of the shortages we have are not difficulties. They are in categories that don't hurt us. It's newspapers. Morale's been fine. We haven't had a single rebellion. They do move out of the area through here, so it is going to be possible to keep things moving along and being okay. Hopefully, to be able to get by them. I mean, if they're just patrolling the connection between here and Mali, speaking of, there is Mali. They are taking that west coast of Africa. There's another. And the other is Australia, and they just have control of Australia. Like, we know what's out there, we know what we need to do. Beating these guys, I think, would be a big step. And in terms of those scores, right? How far do we need to get to win? It doesn't tell you what is the domination requirement. Is it 50k? Is it eliminating all your enemies? Probably shouldn't be. Diplomacy, nobody's going anywhere with that one. What does it take here? Certainly not 500k. Is it 1 million? I mean, is it getting everything to a 15? Well, that's an area that we could be making progress towards here at some stage. Like, it doesn't really tell us what it is we need to do to win. For now, though, that's the goal. That's the objective. We remain ahead of the AI for the time being. 3 garrisons, that shouldn't be too hard to take down quickly enough, and maybe just a couple of rounds, and then we'll move on south. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.